Hello Internet, my name is Andrew Eder, and welcome to another episode of Film Editorials. The reason for the Mad Scientist Welly Goggles is because the topic of today's video is a review of everyone's favorite tiny yellow henchmen, the Minions. Okay, these things are not comfortable. Anyway, Minions tells the origin story of the adorable little henchmen from the Despicable Me franchise as they make their way through history, serving evil villains across centuries. But more specifically, it tells the story of Kevin, Stuart, and Bob, three specific minions who set out to find a new evil villain to serve after the minions as a whole really annoy Napoleon. The trio make their way to America to try and meet Scarlet Overkill, the supervillain of 1968's Despicable Me universe. And naturally, because they are minions, they babble their way to ridiculous antics, and it's just a good time. If you've seen the other Despicable Me movies, or if you've seen the trailer for this movie, you know what to expect from this movie, essentially. It's gonna be silly, cute, fun, and that's kind of it. The minions continue to be crazy and zany and weird and just kind of gross, but just really silly. But it's really funny at times, and they're charming, and you're rooting for the three characters as they make their way across the world. And it's just cute fun. It is also really funny. I mean, there's not a lot of high humor here. It's definitely catered to child audiences, so if you have kids or if you are a child watching this video yourself, you're probably really going to enjoy this video, but that doesn't mean someone who's a little older isn't going to get a kick out of it too. I enjoyed it thoroughly. There are some really funny jokes in there. There's actually this one whole scene which is really kind of unexpected when the minions first leave New York, essentially, and I really enjoyed that scene just because you didn't expect it whatsoever. As far as any acting or voice acting goes, Sandra Bullock is definitely the standout. She's the voice of Scarlet Overkill, and she just sounds like she's having a lot of fun with her character. There are a couple other big names involved, like Michael Keaton and John Hamm, and Jeffrey Rush is the narrator, but Sandra Bullock is definitely the star. My problems with this movie stem from the fact that it's not mature enough. There are probably logical inconsistencies in the plotline, and I could like pick it apart and be like, hey, this doesn't make sense, or the geography of this scene doesn't work, but I don't really expect those things to make sense in a kid's movie. But we've seen in the past these kinds of kids movies, and even the other Despicable Me movies, having mature themes and being emotionally deep. This movie is not. This movie is just the minions being silly and having a good time. There's no like big point to it. There's no big lesson to be learned. It's really just, hey, let's watch the minions have some fun. In and of itself, that's not a bad thing, but I was kind of expecting a bit more. I've already kind of mentioned this, but the humor is catering to a younger audience. There's not a lot of highbrow humor. There's not a lot of complicated humor. There's a little bit here and there for adults to enjoy, but it's really catered to kids. So kids are going to get a blast out of this movie. The adults are going to be able to sit through it at least once. On repeated viewings it might age a little quicker, but it's good for what it is. It probably is not going to hold up as well as the other Despicable Me movies have. Lastly, I feel that the trailer spoiled a lot of both the funny elements of it and the historical elements of it. I mean, history is kind of my thing, so this probably is just more of a personal gripe I have with the movie. But like the beginning where it's telling the history of the minions, most of that is covered in the trailer, and then they don't add a whole lot of new information in the full film itself, which I was a little disappointed in. I was hoping to see more of that and more development of how the minions interacted with these different historical villains. So, to the matter of the score, I'm gonna have to give the Minions a 3 stars out of 5. It's very funny, you're gonna laugh a lot. It's really cute, especially Bob, he's adorable. And Sandra Bullock does a really good job with her character. On the other side of things, it does cater to a child's sense of humor, so there's a lot of, fart jokes. There's not a lot in the way of any emotional depth. And then third, a lot of the good jokes and historical villain parts have been spoiled by the various trailers that have come out over the past few months. Usually when I give a movie like 3 stars, I didn't like it very much, but I did enjoy this. It's just light. It's lighthearted fun. There's not a lot going on in it, so you can just sit back and enjoy it and get a few laughs, and then you leave the theater, and it's fairly forgettable. I mean, it's funny. I'm gonna quote it, I'm sure, in the next few days, but not gonna stick with you. Okay, I think that's gonna be it for today's video. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like, favorite, share, subscribe, follow me on Facebook and Twitter. I'll see you guys next time. Bye! Oh, and on some of my social media, I know I promised I would do a review of Inside Out. I haven't forgotten about that. I intend to do something later with that movie and a couple other movies that I haven't gotten around to reviewing yet, or seeing yet at this point, that I want to do a review of, but I just haven't gotten to that yet. But don't worry, subscribe, and I'll make sure to do those videos. Okay, bye.